Yes.
Sawed it.
A saw, dude.
More like... never mind. I
Hit him with the dreidel action real quick, dude.
Ready?
Holy fuck.
Bro, I'm a pro dreidel player.
You are absolutely Jewish, dude. Anybody who's only listening right now,
This piece...
I'm sorry.
...is... What is this? This is the nun.
Damn, you don't get shit.
That means I get nothing, dude.
Damn, bro.
None. More like none. Nothing.
More like none. More like a Nanya. Is she Jewish?
Oh, built like a Jewish person.
What does that mean? Anyway, guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for joining in.
This week is episode 10, bro.
10 whole episodes, dude.
The almighty 10 piece.
Can you believe it? 10 weeks?
10 weeks, dog.
10 whole weeks of us just...
That's 2 months and 2
spewing
weeks.
bullshit and making things up.
Everyone loves us for it.
We got a special episode. Me and Sean are going to be playing a game of dreidel on the podcast.
Yeah, we're going to be playing dreidel the whole time.
And for those of you who don't know how to play dreidel, just Google it. That's how we learned.
Yeah, idiots.
I couldn't explain it to you because I'm still not sure I know how to play.
Yeah, I'm still not sure it's a real game.
Yeah. It's like a dice, but you spin it. Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Look at that bad boy go.
Damn.
Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
Yeah.
Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
What?
Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. And dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
Wow, that was a weird ad-lib noise to make.
Dude, you're like the Migos. You're like the fourth Migos with
Imagine
those ad-libs.
if one of the Migos just was like...
You go, puts the mic to his butt every time he has to talk. That's just the timing of the
That's just the way it goes, yeah.
Whenever he's gassy.
Uh-huh.
And in your case, it would be all the time.
Yes.
Just kidding.
No, it is.
I'm projecting,
yeah,
really.
It's both of us.
You
We're
fart,
gassy
I
boys.
burp.
Uh-huh.
For ad-libs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
Raindrop. Drop top. Dude, that's a hit.
Damn, bro.
God.
Migos really got that from us.
Oh, anyways.
So, y'all, this is the 6 Inch Kings podcast. Coming at you live, hot and heavy. Very hot, actually. I don't know why I wore this sweatshirt. It's going to be real hot.
November 8th. It's November 8th. We have a little Christmas tree. If you guys aren't watching the video, we've upped our decorations.
The world's smallest Christmas tree.
Yeah, and we have a dreidel right next to it because we're inclusive.
Yes.
We love all cultures and any celebration.
And then we have this light up here for Diwali.
Yes.
It's the City of Lights.
Celebration of lights.
That's
I don't even celebrate Diwali, dude.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
Now.
Uh-huh.
Today. Only.
Shout out to
for the first time.
My South Asian compadres.
South American cock. Sorry. I mean. Anyway. What? You know.
What's been going on, dude?
There's been a lot going on, bro. I have such a list of things we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah.
And I don't know what order to go in because one of them is really sad.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that should be the beginning or the end. I think we should knock it out first.
Yeah, let's knock it out first. Let's get our feelings out of the way.
Okay. So, Astroworld.
Oh.
Is a thing.
That's the first one okay.
That's the sad
I thought
one.
you were going in a different direction.
No. That's
like, I'm not ready for
I'm
this.
only talking about what did you think I was going to talk about?
We'll talk about off stream.
Okay. Now I'm nervous. What do you know that I don't know, dude?
I don't know anything, dude.
Okay, great.
Yeah, let's talk about what happened this past weekend at Astroworld. So for the listeners who don't live in the city that we live in, which is...
Oh, I think this is way beyond just Houston.
Yes, but... For those of you who don't know, we do live in Houston.
Yes.
So Astroworld has been a thing in our lives for the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to go to either of the first two, but I have so many. I mean, you probably do as well, but I have so many friends who went to the first two.
Yes.
And always, they always talk about how fun it was.
Mm-hmm.
Usually good things are said. But this past event,
yes,
there was a few instances where people lost their lives.
Mm-hmm. 8 people died.
8 people total died. From some of the numbers I was reading, 17 people suffered cardiac arrest, which basically means their heart stopped for, a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the math, 9 people were able to survive that. But unfortunately, 8 people did lose their lives. Today, they came out with the list of people who lost their lives. Initially, people were saying that the youngest person who died was 10.
Yeah. There was a 10-year-old injured, but he didn't die.
Yeah.
Thank
so
God.
I saw that the youngest person who died was a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
I think he was a guy.
Yeah, 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, 14-year-old boy, and also a 16-year-old girl was also killed, as well as the others being, varied ranges from 20 to 30. But with all that said, that's still a crazy amount of people dying in one night at a festival.
It's an insane number.
Especially a festival that, 50,000 people is a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to EDC recently, and that was like
500,000.
Yeah.
450,000.
450,000 people.
And in the whole weekend, that many, not even half that many people died at EDC.
Yeah.
I don't think I've even heard of one death at EDC yet.
I haven't heard of one death at EDC yet at all, so.
Which, to be fair, like, people die at EDC.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the last EDC they threw was like the first one in a very long time that nobody died at.
Mm-hmm.
And they attributed it to the cooler weather, because usually when people die at EDC, it's heat exertion.
Yeah.
And, or overdosing, or a combination. But this is like an unprecedented.
Yeah.
I haven't checked, but my assumption is that this is like a new record for single night of deaths at a music festival.
Something about like when Woodstock tried to revamp in the 90s, they had a high number of deaths too, but this is definitely the highest number in our lifetime.
Yeah,
I would say
in recent history.
Yeah. And for all of it to happen in one night.
Yeah.
It's just
crazy.
It's just so crazy.
So sad.
Especially being in the city that it happened to. It really affects us a little bit more than I think people who are just reading about it. Mm-hmm. Although one of the victims who did die was from out of state. I think his family was from Washington and stuff. So it reaches beyond for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure people are coming from all over the country for Astroworld. Travis is a big rapper. I mean, Astroworld is like one of the biggest hip hop festivals out there now.
Mm-hmm. Especially since the success of the first two.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be a annual thing that he does every year, and people would always come out to it. But with all this happening, I was asking myself recently, who is to blame when something like this happens? Because it's a freak accident. Like, this isn't something that happens all the time. It's hard to plan, although you should plan for things like this. It's really hard the day of, while everything is happening, to really get a good grasp on how to deal with situations, in my opinion. I've been hearing a lot of things about people blaming Travis Scott himself, people blaming NRG Park, like their preparations, people blaming the fans. And I do think everybody has a little bit to blame, for sure. But, like, what do you think could have been done differently?
It's so hard to say, bro, especially, like, I don't have a degree in festival planning, things like that. I will say, I do think Travis is liable, especially, like, I get it. It's dark outside, and you're, like, on a stage, and you're lit with production lights. Like, it's not easy to see. But there's, like, more and more information coming out about him having been told what was happening. Also, so there's like more than one video of him being on like a platform out in this crowd where he can see what's going on. And bro, there's a video where he's looking directly at a body, like being taken out of the crowd. And he's like singing still as he's looking at it. That's crazy. Yeah. And it's hard to say, because I know that, like we were saying, every festival is basically prepared for kind of the inevitability of someone being hurt in this crowd, or like maybe even someone dying. And I get it if you're like not going to stop the show every time it looks like someone is hurt, especially if they already have medical staff with them. But bro, there's like videos of the whole crowd chanting "Stop the show!" because people are getting hurt so bad. So it is on Travis. I think it's also on the staff of the event, bro. Like, so many people knew, or at least were notified about what was happening. Yeah. That video of that girl who climbed up on the camera platform.
Yeah, telling that camera guy.
Told the camera guy, like, dude, that guy is liable. Morally. I don't know about legally, but morally, that dude has a burden to bear for the rest of his life. And it's not like it's an easy spot to be in, because I'm sure the staff who works at these events is like, oh, everyone in this crowd is fucked up on drugs.
Yeah.
You can't trust them when they say anything ever, basically.
And you also don't want to like be in that situation where you like say, you know, hypothetical situation, someone does that and he ends up stopping the show and nothing
And then
happened,
nothing was happening.
then he's very liable
For
and
sure.
everybody's mad at him. And
For sure.
So it's a
It's a tough spot for a cameraman, and it's not like he's responsible for everything.
Yeah.
But everybody has their role to play. Also, like the event coordinators in general are liable. Live Nation is liable.
Yeah.
Whoever planned out the way that the festival grounds were going to be set up, not having an exit, there's just so much, like so many pieces that fall perfectly into place for such a bad situation like this to happen.
Yeah.
And then also, apparently, the Houston Police Department at like 9:30 filed like I guess something called a mass casualty event.
So they knew at 9:30 that people had died?
Yes. Wow. And they notified the production team, and the production team said, we'll find a way to stop the show early, but then they didn't. And like Travis still finished his whole set until 10:15 when he was scheduled to finish.
I saw this video of basically the people who were chanting like stop the show. It was like a TikTok I saw, and the guy was recording them saying stop the show, and somebody in the background yelled, "This motherfucker's been dead for the past 5 songs. Somebody needs to stop the show. He's been dead for the past 5 songs."
Exactly.
And I was like, bro.
Like when you have literal dead bodies in the crowd at your show, it's time to stop.
Yeah.
It is time to stop. It's just such a thing, bro. And I don't really want to hop on my soapbox about it because I've already done it a handful of times. But the people who went to Astroworld through no fault of their own are not like festival people.
Yeah.
The same way that people are who are going to more niche festivals, like EDM specific festivals, or even like jam band festivals, any other kind of festival.
Yeah.
Astroworld is a festival that specifically caters to like top 40 mainstream pop music that brings in a crowd of people who otherwise have never been to a festival.
Yeah.
And they like watch the music videos of Travis's music or just listen to what he says. I mean, obviously everyone has been talking lately about how Travis is constantly basically saying, rage as hard as you can, fuck security, like tear this shit up, fuck the club up. And that shit's all cool to say in a song, but now people are dead because they thought they could just wild out maximum and like not have any repercussions.
Yeah. Travis Scott has a history for sure of inciting.
Bro, he's been arrested at previous shows before because security staff had their leg broken by the crowd because he was inciting violence.
Yeah, I think the accounts that he was arrested for were like citing riots, basically. I think there was a show in some podunk town, I think Arkansas, yeah. Watching his documentary on Netflix, he got arrested right after the show because the authorities said he incited violence. And he encourages a lot of like the behaviors of these fans. Just watching the documentary on Netflix that he had a while ago, there was a thing where he was performing in New York, and it was a 2-tier, like there was a balcony, and there was a guy who was going to jump off the balcony, and Travis Scott was like, "Fuck yeah, do it, pussy, you won't do it." And the guy jumped and sustained some injuries.
Jesus.
I think he was liable for that. So
yeah, I bet.
So, I mean, at a certain point, you know, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of rappers who promote like rage hard, and that can be good in some instances.
Yeah.
But when you physically put somebody in harm and you're actually inciting them to do it, that's really where you can throw some blame on him for some of the shit that went down. Yeah.
And it's also a matter of like, I don't know, it's tough because, you know, all musicians say crazy shit. And you just have to chalk it up as being like part of the art. And I get that. And also a lot of the musicians I listen to are also kind of that way.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I listen to Sullivan King. Half of his songs are like telling people to break down the rail and go hard as fuck and fuck shit up. But I think the difference there is in the culture of the audience that they're speaking to. People at an EDM show, at a headbanger show, like, there is a really clear unwritten rule book of like taking care of each other within the EDM scene. And because of that, you have a lot more leeway as an artist to say crazy shit because you can say fucking murder the guy next to you and they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But people at Astroworld will do it.
Yeah.
Like it's an issue that I've been like vaguely aware of or suspicious of for a long time, which is why I've never gone to a hip hop festival.
Yeah. Fights break out a lot.
Always, bro. And that's all you hear about is how everyone is shitty, super egotistical, doesn't give a fuck about anyone but themselves, like shoving people out of the way to get where they want to go. It's just so not the right vibe.
Yeah. It's definitely not the vibe that at the shows that we go to.
Right.
It's a completely different story.
It's completely,
part of me,
it's very different.
Part of me wonders if it's like an age thing as well, because most EDM festivals are 18 plus, or even some 21 plus.
Yeah.
And bro, there was a 10-year-old at Astroworld. Like how is it not universally acclaimed that most festivals should be 18 plus?
Yeah. On that note, anyone out there who ever thought it was cool or okay for a 10-year-old to be at fucking Astroworld, dude.
I would say even any music festival.
Yeah, I would never take it. The only music festival I would consider taking like a child to,
I think, is ACL, maybe. But that's because it's like
ACL because it's basically like a fair.
Yeah, it's like you're not city of Austin.
Yeah, and the thing is, if the festival is big enough that you can like stay in a safe, literally physically safe space the entire time, then I guess it's okay. But that being said, obviously that person didn't do that with their 10-year-old at Astroworld. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had to be hospitalized. That's just so crazy, man. Yeah. And frankly, no 10-year-old needs to be at a festival ever. Yeah. That 10-year-old was probably at that festival because one of his fuck-ass parents wanted to go. Yeah. And had to take the kid with him.
Couldn't have a sitter or something.
Yeah.
Also, 10-year-olds, don't listen to Travis Scott. Yeah. That's not the music you should be listening to.
10-year-olds' parents, stop letting your kids listen to Travis Scott.
Yeah, keep them on the Disney Channel.
If you want to teach them how to rage, play Skrillex.
Yeah.
Come on,
something
man.
with no words.
Yeah. Beep boop, beep boop.
Yeah.
So yeah, Astroworld, it's tragic, man.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Figuring out the liability of it all is gonna get worked out. I mean, there's already so many lawsuits in the works.
It's gonna take so long.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be
kind of pans out though.
More than a year, I would imagine, before the dust settles around all this.
Which is so unfortunate, man. The families.
I know.
It's
absolutely tragic.
It's gonna be following them around for
forever.
2 or 3. I mean, forever for sure. But until they get some sort of answer or some sort of retribution, it's gonna take them so long.
Yeah. The only hope is that something meaningful comes out of this. Like some kind of redeeming quality. Yeah. I mean, it's a tragedy, and there's no getting around that. Mm-hmm. But maybe some kind of new safety practice, which I don't know what it would be.
Boosted security measures.
Yeah, something. Or even
if anything, impacting society.
If anything, I mean, ideally, like new safety protocols and safety measures are cool. But safety protocols are only as good as the people who actually follow them. Mm-hmm. What we really need, and I hope we see, and we probably will see here, is like a big jump in awareness of like the people who are going to festivals like this. Yeah. Because I think it's easy to just go to a festival like this and not ever even think about the physical safety of everyone involved. Because you're like, oh, it's taken care of. This like we're all paying for these tickets. All that money goes to like event planning. It's all settled. Like there's cops here. Everything is quote unquote safe. We can do whatever the fuck we want, basically. And that's just not it. That's not correct. So I guess we'll see where it goes.
These crowds are so tight. Looking at pictures, man.
Yeah.
Claustrophobia in me just
absolutely
makes me want to throw up.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Well, since then, we were talking earlier about like, do we think the people, because the incident happened Friday. It was supposed to be a 2-day festival, but they canceled Saturday shows because of what happened. Mm-hmm. And we were like, I wonder if people are going to get their money back.
Oh, he's already refunding. I think he's refunding the full ticket price.
He's refunding everybody their full ticket price. Yeah, which is crazy because that means they're going to take such a loss on. Yeah. I mean, he's going to file for bankruptcy. It's got to.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
3 lawsuits have already gone through.
He's dating a Jenner, so.
That's true. By Monday morning, at least 3 lawsuits were filed. And I'm sure there's more to come.
Oh yeah, a lot, bro. It's gonna be so big.
Oh.
We were having this class action, honestly.
Yeah, we were having this discussion with our number one fan. Shout out to you, Sam.
Shout out, Sam. Take a shot.
But what do you think is going to happen to like Travis Scott's popularity as an artist? Like,
I don't think it's going to take as big of a hit as people are making it sound like right now.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to see from Travis Scott after this, because he's going to be under the microscope for a lot.
Yeah.
And there's really two routes he can take, and both of which you can dissect and criticize.
Mm-hmm.
The first route is to continue what he's been doing, and not waver to all this and be the artist or whatever and just stay true to himself, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Or he could turn around and be a little bit more precautious and not be as aggressive and stuff. And both routes you could dissect and be like, well, this, one side will be like, oh, Travis, this isn't you. Like, you're just pandering to the art, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side, you're like, Travis, what the fuck? You're being insensitive.
Yeah.
So part of me thinks, like, what if he just lays low?
I mean, he probably will.
For the next few years, doesn't make music.
He's probably going to have lawyers in his ear telling him to do that for sure.
Yeah.
The thing about, like, staying true to what you've done in the past is it's, like, that's always something that people look at as something that's, like, noble to do, and it, like, reinforces the idea that you really believe in what you're doing. But that gets really muddy when your past behavior has resulted in death.
Yeah.
Like, literally straight up, people died as a result of what you did. So, not to say that it's only his fault, but I mean, he has to change his ways a little bit here. Not to say he can't make ragey music anymore, like tell people to rage, but you got to kind of clarify that raging doesn't mean letting people die.
Yeah.
It means dancing hard. Like, it's not what, I just can't, honestly, bro, I don't even know what people at Astroworld were thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's like probably a herd mentality thing, and it's also like a bystander effect thing. But God, bro.
If you see someone on the ground,
yeah,
logically speaking,
and you should, like, the event organizers, bro, how did you not stop the show? Y'all had to know, bro.
Yeah.
They just had to. And if they didn't, that isn't even a better excuse, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that means it's even worse than everyone thinks it was.
Then you didn't plan properly.
That 8 people died in the crowd and you didn't find out about it until afterwards? That's insane. I know it's a lot of people, but, like, dog, figure it out. You're getting paid millions collectively to put this show together.
And if other festivals can run smoothly, and if other festivals can run the way that they do, then what's the difference in this one?
If EDC can pull off 500,000 people with no deaths, what is the excuse for a festival with 50,000 people?
Yeah.
So,
and I'd like to say more people were doing crazier drugs at EDM festivals than they do at rap festivals.
People are doing drugs at hip hop festivals. I'm sure they're doing all the same drugs, but I don't know. That also goes back into, like, people are doing more and crazier drugs at EDC, but they're also veterans and they know how to handle their drugs and, like, not fuck themselves up. It's tough, man. And I mean, I don't want to generalize an entire city, but Houston kind of has a drug problem.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a whole thing.
A crowd surge, that's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Crowd surge is when individuals in a large group make a sudden or rapid movement within a confined space.
It was just like people pushing in.
Yeah, people trying to get closer.
We've seen it at EDM shows too. It's not like it doesn't happen there, but it just happens within reason.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting crushed to death.
Yeah. You're not
EDM
shoving
shows.
people in front of you to get through. And
when people fall on the ground because you're shoving them, we don't walk on top of them. It's just so insane.
Yeah. I think the craziest bit to me was, so for example, when we went to EDC, there were 2 instances that we had where, like, a little ambulance car had to come through a crowd to get somebody. And both times that happened, every single person was like, yo, everybody get the fuck out the way. Like, it moved along smoothly.
Team effort.
And then the video that came out of Astroworld, there's these, I don't even know, children, young adults, whatever they are, on top of an ambulance car
Yeah.
as it's trying to get through a crowd, like dancing on it and jumping on it. And it's like, what in your mind
Yeah.
makes you think that you can get on top of an ambulance car
Yeah.
while it's going somewhere?
How do you not understand the gravity of the fact that there's a
Like,
a
what do we chalk that up to? Like, because when stuff like that happens, you can't blame Travis Scott. You can't blame the event court. You have to almost blame the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, of course you blame the crowd. When someone is standing on top of an emergency medical vehicle and when other people are standing in front of it and not letting it move, those people are grossly negligent and liable.
But it's so, like, it was so many people. Like,
I know. Because it's, bro, and this is, I'm not trying to like shit on an entire segment of the population because I fuck with hip hop heavy too.
Yeah, Drake is number one, dude, for
but
sure.
It's the culture around hip hop music.
Yeah.
Or at least
the fuck everybody else attitude.
The culture in the youth around like new hip hop. That it's just like fuck everyone, only look out for yourself type of shit.
Yeah.
It's just a bad place for anybody to be.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so gross.
It is. It's gross and it's tragic.
Yeah, it makes me feel like there's like a pit in my stomach.
I know. Me too, man.
Last night or
makes me scared to go to festivals too.
Yeah.
Even though I know my festivals aren't like that.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday morning when I woke up and I was like scrolling through Twitter, I got through like a couple tweets and a couple videos before I had to like actually put my phone away because I was like, I just can't keep going into this rabbit hole. And TikTok doesn't help either. My TikTok is just full of fucking videos from Astroworld.
Yeah, you got to start disliking videos from Astroworld to get away from it. So anyway, that's the Astroworld fiasco. We won't dwell on it any longer. Just wanted to say our piece on it, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Would be remiss not to mention it at least.
I know. Hopefully, yeah, like you said, to tie it up, some good comes out of it. Yeah. A cultural shift, a mentality shift in the culture, you know. When you go to something and you see somebody die, it'll probably shift your mentality and make you think about things differently. Yeah. And that's the hope. Just be better in the future.
Amen. So moving on from there,
went to go see Porter Robinson.
Yeah, we did. We went to go see Porter Robinson.
A fucking legend in the industry.
An absolute icon. Couldn't be, ironically, on the same day, on the same night as Astroworld, and could not be two different places in the world to be.
It was such a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Missed out on a lot of it. I did, but.
Oh, we all did. He was already on when we got there too.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. I really didn't anticipate his show ending at 12.
No, I was really disappointed when we found that out.
Since it's after the fact of it all happening, like, it was pretty clear. Like, it's his show. He's not doing it at some, like, club. He's doing it at an event center.
Yeah, but even then, other shows I've seen at that event center.
They run till 2? Are you sure?
Yeah. I saw Excision there a couple of times, and he played till 2 both times.
Makes me wonder why that wasn't true. A lot of the Toyota Center concerts, like the big concerts, they end at 12.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe since it was his own concert and it was just him. Well, no, he had pre-performers, but it was his tour.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe he was doing that sort of whole thing.
I mean, I get it. And realistically, preferably we would have just had the day off so that we could have been there for the whole thing. But, it is what it is.
Yeah. But his set was really good.
It's a great show.
We took a few of our friends to their first concert or EDM Fest concert as well.
Yeah.
And that was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That was a really good night.
Yeah, honestly. That was a great night. Especially after Porter, we went to a bar on Main Street in Houston called Natsuo, which is Houston backwards.
Hell yeah.
It's weird, bro. If y'all have not been to Natsuo, I do encourage you to go check it out. But don't think you're gonna have like a normal bar experience. It's
and don't just stay in the first floor.
Yeah, go upstairs.
Yeah, work your way up. Don't go upstairs initially.
Yeah, hang out. I mean, to be fair, if you're like with a group of friends, downstairs is a nice vibe.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of space.
They have chess.
If you go upstairs, there's like a little lounge area and another bar. I didn't even realize until we went up there.
And they have an outside patio too.
Yeah, if you go upstairs from the second floor, there's a third floor like little outdoor balcony. Not balcony, little outdoor patio that's walled because this is Main Street.
Yeah.
All the buildings are like 4 stories tall. And then from there, you can get to an area that I wouldn't say is hidden, but it's certainly not obvious that it's there.
Yeah. You got to be searching for it to find it.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting, all things said. Y'all should, go check it out, if you're into some weird shit.
It was a fun night.
Talk to the owner, Jim. I think he's there most nights.
Jim. What an old man he was.
Tell him Sean sent you. He won't know who I am. But then I'll be like, I'm Sean. And he'll be like,
we got so many people coming in from you, dog.
You're ruining this place. Anyway, so in the news this week, a few things. One thing I really wanted to touch on was such a hot button issue right now is the metaverse. And so I kind of wanted to get into that.
Okay.
So I'll preface this by saying, I'm sure most people know this by now, but Facebook, in their infinite wisdom, have decided to rebrand themselves as Meta is going to be their new company name instead of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're saying that they're rebranding as Meta and that they are doing this and kind of shifting their focus from just like being Facebook and doing all the things they do, i.e. data collection,
mm-hmm.
and they're going to refocus on virtual reality, essentially. And so the term metaverse is basically just like a word that is being very broadly used right now for like the internet in virtual reality.
Yeah.
Like online virtual spaces that are shared among many users or perhaps all users of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And Facebook is pointing their aim in that direction.
Yeah.
And as a result, there has been an entire industry pop up what feels like overnight.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure a lot of these companies have been working on this for a long time. This is like the idea that we're going to live in a future where VR is something that we all do pretty regularly. That idea has been around for a long time.
Yeah. Science fiction has been on that shit.
Yeah.
For a long time.
And
movies like Ready Player One and all that really try to hone in on that.
Yeah, definitely. And even like really early examples of it exist already. Like PlayStation had, I think it was called PlayStation Home, where every person with a PlayStation account could make their own little like apartment essentially in virtual space. And then
as long as you had the VR set,
I'm talking about before VR.
Oh, really?
I'm talking when the PS3 first came out, way back then in like 2007. You could make your own little apartment, and there were big common spaces, movie theaters where you could go watch real movies with like everyone else who's.
Oh, really?
And you're just doing it on your TV. Yeah, in your party or even just with randoms. All kinds of stuff. You could go to the park. You could go anywhere. Do whatever you wanted to do. Stuff like that has existed for a long time. And that's like a really early example of basically the same thing that the quote-unquote metaverse is going to end up being. A lot of companies are springing up and like getting into the business of virtual reality in really interesting ways. Like there are companies that are selling quote, I'm doing big air quotes here, plots of virtual land.
Yeah.
That are uniquely yours. I mean, they're essentially NFTs.
Yeah.
That you can do whatever you want with. Now, how that's different from you just buying a website on Squarespace and putting up pictures of a plot of land or something, like I really don't know. But it's interesting. I don't know how big of a deal it's going to be that Facebook is making this move right now, outside of the fact that they are obviously influencing a lot of other companies to do the same, which is a really big deal.
I wonder what the 5-year projection on it is.
Yeah, I would love to know. It looks like it's going to be interesting for sure. And there's a lot of... This industry is going to boom. I mean, it's already booming. Like, there's a lot of opportunity here for a lot of money to be made.
The crazy thing with, like, tech industries are they don't quantify... They don't really quantify their money or their base projections on like total sales or liquid assets. It's more just projecting what the mainstream media is going to value it at. Like there's no hard sale of the metaverse. You know, like you can't quantify a number of how many like Oculuses you're going to sell and all this. It's just basically just big projections on what we think the culture is going to be, almost in a sense.
I mean, especially in a situation where...
That's why tech stocks are so volatile at times too.
Yeah.
And that's why they shoot up really quickly and they can also shoot down really quickly.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have any sort of monetary backing besides what these super smart elite people think are going to happen in the next few years.
It's all, what's the word?
I can't think of the word. I was trying to think of the word earlier.
When you're guessing what's going to happen in the future. Not projection, but...
Projecting? No, I don't know.
Fuck.
There's a word for sure, and I couldn't think of it.
Oh, I can't believe I can't think of this word, dude.
Anyways.
The
metaverse
it's fine.
Is an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's pretty lit, I'd say.
And I just wonder how all this is going to work. When I think of the metaverse, I also think of, I don't know if you've ever played it, but NBA 2K. They have like a My Park feature where you have a player who roams around in a world. You know, you can play pickup games. You can go to the barbershop to customize your character.
Yeah.
You could customize your apartment, almost like GTA in a sense as well. But all this is going to be done on a VR headset, and you're going to be in a completely different world almost.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to think about.
It is.
Because a lot of people already now don't leave their house.
Yeah.
Because there's things like Amazon and all this. And you add to it something like this popping up, there's going to be a good chunk of the population who just never want to leave the house.
Yeah. Now let me just make up like a really simple example scenario. And you tell me if this sounds cool or not cool to you.
Okay.
So you are at home. You're like, you know what, bro? I feel like going on a walk. I haven't gone on a walk in a fucking hot minute. And so you get up out of your computer chair. You're just in like your socks and your PJs, whatever you normally wear at home. You put on your VR headset. You hop on your omnidirectional treadmill that lets you walk in any direction without actually moving. And then you go through a loading screen or whatever and load into a park, like a Central Park.
Yeah.
You load into Central Park.
Yosemite.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
And you just start going for a walk, bro. And it's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. And there's other people out there too. And you can like see their names floating over their heads. Or if you want to, you can just turn it off and not see them at all. And you just get it to be whatever you want it to be. But then also where it gets really interesting is when you think about the fact that this is like a common digital space that everyone has access to, much like the real world. But the creators of it are monetizing that space. So you go on your walk and it's gorgeous. It's just like being in Central Park in New York City. But then off in the distance, there's a Best Buy over there. And you don't have to go near it and it's not bothering you. It's just like in the real world. You just see stuff off in the distance. But if you wanted to, in VR, you could walk over into that Best Buy and it's just like being in a real Best Buy. You can look at stuff. You can play with the new MacBook and see how it works. And if you liked it, you could just hit a button and now it's going to be delivered to your house. That's going to be a very real thing.
Yeah.
Like online virtual shopping is going to be huge.
Yeah. I also think
driving cars, you can test drive any car in the world.
Yeah, I also think all that stuff will also be monetized. Like if you want to select Central Park as a thing, you pay a little fee.
Maybe.
To get the convenience.
The question with stuff like that is like...
who gets the money? Yeah,
especially if you're replicating actual real world stuff. Probably the state of New York.
I was going to say maybe the state of New York or something. Or maybe if they're good people, they'll donate it to a charity that helps preserve national parks.
But we all know the people who run New York are not good people.
That was a very optimistic claim. But statements like that, when I overthink them, sound cool and interesting. And I'm like, I can get behind. But my initial thought was like, that's scary and weird.
And I think that's everyone's initial thought.
And how are we gonna mate? How are we gonna procreate? Like, how are we gonna?
I think that's still gonna have to be physical for a while.
Yeah. This is definitely something that's not going to happen. I mean, maybe it'll happen in our lifetime.
Oh, definitely.
Later down the line, for
Yeah.
sure. But I start to think of it like the generation growing up in it. Like, how is that going to affect them?
Yeah.
Because
It's
we're
gonna
also, like,
ruin them.
right now we're seeing that COVID, the effects that COVID had
Mm-hmm.
on kids, like, you know, from kindergarten to 5th grade, how they socially interact and all that. You know, you hear kids, you know, you go to kindergarten, in the first year of kindergarten, you're on a Zoom lecture, and you don't really know how to interact with kids. And
Yeah.
really, from the, you know, 4 to 10 age range, kids are really just learning how to communicate
Yeah.
and, like, be in a group setting. And
Yeah.
those are your formative years. So it could be a good thing. Like, maybe these kids are in VR and they're learning things through VR.
Yeah.
Or it could just have a big mental toll on them where they just never
Mhm.
learn how to do the things that we did in our way.
I think the answer is it'll be both. Just like, you know, like the generation who has been growing up with iPads
Mm-hmm.
and just or phones, and they've just been like sucked into it the whole time. Like, it has its ups and downs. They're better with technology than anyone ever, but
Mhm.
they don't know how to live.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
like they
It's
have
like a trade-off
a
type thing.
yeah, it is a trade-off. They have like a serious problem with like dopamine addiction
Uh-huh.
and like instant gratification.
Yeah,
I
their
thought I
attention-
had it bad, but
Yeah, their
boy,
attention spans are,
they don't exist.
yeah.
They're 6 seconds.
Yeah. Seeing a child throw a tantrum for not having a phone
Yeah.
is just the craziest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's easy to like just be like, oh, that kid's so stupid or like so spoiled.
Yeah.
But the truth is they've been conditioned to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like taking drugs away from a drug addict.
Yeah.
It's not their fault that their body physically hurts when you take the drugs away, or
Mhm.
like that their mind sucks to be inside of when they don't get what they need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's an addiction. Weird that we're setting our kids up for that. But at the same time, it's like, is humanity going to step away from technology?
Yeah.
No.
No, not at all.
I mean, it's, you know, we're leaning into it. We have
Especially-
always leaned into it.
Yeah. Because it makes us so much money and makes our lives so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, it does make us a lot of money, and that is important as far as like why it is so widespread and
Mhm.
so like accepted. But I think it's important to like be really honest with ourselves, because I think a lot of people like to look at stuff like this and go, oh, it's all because these big companies want to make
Uh-huh.
money. And it's like, yeah, they do, but also
They're trying to improve the world.
nobody's making you buy a phone.
Yeah.
Everyone does this shit because it's fucking dope. Like, I don't own this iPad because I have to.
Yeah.
It's just dope and
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like, I don't drive fast cars because they exist and therefore I must. It's fucking super fun,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that's, I mean, yeah, that's how they get you, but but I just don't think it's, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm saying big companies aren't evil, but I think it's a little more complex than just saying they're evil,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. There's evil people in the companies, but I believe most companies are trying to do what they think is right. Or what they think will, like, improve society,
Hopefully.
I would say.
I think it's probably the case that most individuals within a company want to do the right thing. But companies as a whole, when you get a big company with so many people, so many moving parts in it, everyone kind of loses their individual responsibility for what's happening. And they all just kind of go into like, just do what's best for the company mode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obviously not very good. So it'll be very interesting to see. I would say, like, even in 5 years from now, the metaverse, if we're gonna use that name, is gonna be
Dope name.
It is an interesting name.
It's a dope name.
It's gonna be way more developed than it is now, and I'm really excited to see what comes of it. But everyone keep in mind, if you don't like that shit,
You don't gotta do it.
you don't have to participate. And I don't mean that in a snarky way.
No, you really don't. Nobody's forcing you to get on Metaverse.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's forcing you to get on TikTok either.
Yeah.
If you think it's bad for you, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the willpower not to do it, because I fucking don't.
None of us do, bro.
Yeah.
None of us do. TikTok is gonna end our lives.
Yeah. It's already ended mine. Fucking dude.
When you first moved in here, I don't even think you had the app downloaded.
No, I had it installed, but yeah, I never got on it.
Yeah.
But I was just doing the same thing I was just doing that on Reddit.
Yeah.
TikTok is just better at it, at doing the same thing, which is bad for me from a personal time wasted perspective. Dude, yesterday, I mean, obviously we were off yesterday. I didn't do goddamn anything except lay on the couch and scroll on TikTok, bro, for a day. A day, bro. Until like whatever time I like started cleaning up and getting ready for everyone to come over. And then I ran to the store real quick. So probably, I mean, before because we ended up having like a little get together last night.
Mm-hmm.
Before all that happened, probably
8 hours.
8 hours, 10 hours. I just laid there on TikTok. And they put in those little TikToks that are like, oh, you've been scrolling for a long time. I don't even let those fuckers.
Really?
Oh, you never get those?
No.
Oh, dude. TikTok has a whole little series of like TikToks that they'll inject into your feed.
No way.
Oh, yeah. If you've been on for like a long time. It's just like general like wellness thing. It's like, why don't you like take a break and go for a walk?
Are you still watching?
Kind of, but it's more along the lines of like trying to. I think they're just doing it to look good. But like, you know, if you're on TikTok for like, let's say 3 or 4 hours, you'll come across a TikTok that's posted by TikTok or like
oh, really?
TikTok tips or whatever it is. And it'll be someone being like, man, we've been scrolling for a long time. Maybe we should like get some water, go for a walk, stretch our legs.
What the fuck?
It's so funny you've never seen those. Yeah, I get them. I only get them. Most days I don't get them at all.
Yeah. Well, I think that was like you were continuously on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of the times it's me on TikTok for like 30 minutes and then I'll get off.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later I'll go on for like another 45 minutes.
Well, yesterday was a real turning point for me. You know, when I got up and started doing stuff and I thought back on how long I'd been laying there on TikTok, I told myself, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I need to actually put a limit on my phone for how many hours per day I can be on TikTok because this is a problem.
Yeah.
All I do is go to work and be on TikTok.
Yeah.
And record this podcast. I got to put something else in there, dude. This is not a good rotation.
Let's get another hobby, dude.
Oh, we need one.
I've drifted away from going to the gym, man.
I know, me too.
We both need to get back into that. Maybe that'll clear our heads a little bit.
The problem is
we stay up till 4 a.m. every night.
I mean, that is part of it.
And we don't wake up till 12. And by the time it's 12, we're
not going to the gym.
We're not going to the gym.
It's too late. The thing about it for me, though, is when we were going to the gym consistently, that was the most I'd ever gone. And it was great, especially having our friends all going to the same gym and like seeing each other. And like the community aspect we had going was so good. But now I've fallen off and I just get to this point. And I hate that this is the case. But even if I force myself to go to the gym, I go and I'm not having fun the whole time.
Yeah.
And I like, not this time that I fell off, but the last time I fell off when I lived at my old apartment, I think before I really knew y'all, I remember being at the gym, I was lifting and I literally looked at myself in the mirror and I went, I don't want to do this. And I put the weights down and left. And I got it. But the thing is, I want to be jacked so bad. But I hit a wall with working out where it's just not fun anymore.
That's fair.
And I hate it. But it just happens.
Yeah, it is.
So
We've all been there. We've all been there. I think it's normal for people to go through flows of like being active and then like just being lazy.
Yeah. So you gotta have the discipline.
Yeah, it's very much discipline. And it's so hard to get into the discipline. And then once you're in it and you stray off for a little bit, it's even harder to get back into it. And that's what I'm struggling with right now.
And then you're shaming yourself because you're not doing it anymore. And all your friends are asking about it. And you're like, shut the fuck up. But then they're not going anymore either. It's a whole thing, dude.
It is a whole thing, man.
Such a constant struggle for humans. This is like one of the biggest shared struggles I feel that like people have.
I'm going tomorrow.
Let's go after this.
No. I'm so tired, dude.
What time do you work tomorrow?
12:30. I have a PDR at 1:30, so.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have my whole day tomorrow, but I do need to catch up on a lot of homework I need to do for the class I'm doing.
What time is that PDR ending?
I'm going to give it a generous 3 hours. So probably like 5.
Wow, you're going to have the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, dude.
I know. I don't know what I'm going to, I mean, really all I'm going to do is
Sit at the bar.
try to learn how to code.
Yeah, true.
But
That's a good thing to do. Seeing you doing your class has made me want to get back into learning Python.
dude, there's a website that I'm using to assist me learning Python that's completely free, which I wish I would have known about earlier. But I actually like the format of the class, and I think it's going to benefit me a lot more.
Yeah.
But there's a website that I'm using to help me learn Python as well. That's actually pretty good. There's a lot of like hands-on things, and they teach you a lot of things as well that I can send you.
Okay. Seeing and like just hearing from the other room, you being in your class, has kind of made me want to. I mean, it's a big commitment, but like it's made me want to actually sign up for a boot camp, because I think for me personally, there's a lot to be said for the increased like accountability factor of having an actual teacher teaching you how to do stuff and like expecting you to respond and send in assignments or like work progress and stuff like that. Also, I was thinking a lot again today about learning piano, and I was like, if I ever do that, I'm definitely going to actually sign up for in-person classes, because I'll just never do it on my own, even though I want to do it. That's how, bro, I've been like that my whole life. No matter how badly I want something, if it's just up to me to do it, I'm not going to do it.
That's a lot of people, though. I
yeah.
mean, that's me for sure. Like, if there's not a group of people behind me, helping me and assisting me and also interested in the same thing, it's hard for me to like stay focused.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's just because we have a wide variety of like interests.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for us to zone in on one.
I also think it ties back into the TikTok thing with like dopamine addiction or serotonin addiction, whichever one it is. Maybe it's both. Where like we're so keyed in on instant gratification, and you get that gratification when you pick up a new thing that you're trying to learn, because it's exciting. You're like, oh, I get all the stuff I need. If you're me, I spend a lot of money on some shit that I think is going to make it easier.
Yeah.
And it never does. And I get so excited, and then I barrel in for like a week or 2 weeks. And then it stops being easy because I'm done with the beginner shit. And I am no longer getting instant gratification. And I'm to a point where it takes like days or weeks even to get the gratification of learning the next step. And I just don't like, I'm just not, what's the word? I'm not conditioned to operate on that long of a delayed gratitude or a delayed gratification thing, even though I want to be. So I've been thinking, in my hunt for constant gratification, I was watching YouTube videos about this yesterday, and it was a guy who was talking about how he goes on dopamine detoxes, and once a week, essentially what it is just one day a week, he is just bored as fuck. No electronics, electronics is the big one, but like no anything essentially. No reading of, maybe he said you read books. Anyway, the point is you just don't do any of the shit that you normally do to like feed yourself constant little hits of dopamine, which for us is like such a constant thing. I was telling Julia and Victoria last night how like I came in here to warm up a slice of pizza while I was waiting for everyone to get here, and I walk in here and don't warm up I spent longer looking for a YouTube video to play while I was warming up the pizza than I actually would have spent if I had just warmed it up without anything playing. And that was that's so common for me. It happens so many times per day that I do some shit like that, and I've been like that for years. But that was a moment that I reflected on. I was like, I'm addicted to this. Yeah. Like constant. I'm addicted to stimulation, which I think we all are. But that doesn't mean it's not a problem.
Yeah. I have a problem where every time I go to sleep, I have to put on some sort of podcast or some sort of video. I think I just need some sort of noise. Yeah. Or maybe it's the stimulation thing where I have to find a video that's about 20 minutes long. Yeah. So I can listen to it while I sleep, and then before it ends, stops right when you are asleep. I'll be asleep, and it takes me like 15 minutes to find a video, or at least something that I'm like slightly interested in. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I think I suffer through the same problem as well, where I've been told, my ex-girlfriend told me that she thinks that like I have troubles like being alone in my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's why I like need to listen to something, or I need to get my mind on something. Because if it's just quiet and I'm by myself, I start to like overthink or whatever it is, which I think has some sort of merit. I don't think she was necessarily wrong, but I don't think she's completely right, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But I do the same thing, bro. While I'm looking for some food or cooking up some food, I'm like looking for a YouTube video. I'm listening to sports talk radio. Like, I need some sort of like stimulation in my head to go, or else I feel like it's like quiet. I'm like, I'm just listening, looking at the microwave, turn my food.
It's just like concentrated boredom.
Yeah.
And we live in a world where you do not ever have to be bored.
Yeah.
And we don't ever.
Yeah. If you have the choice. Yeah. You have the choice always.
But turns out being bored is actually good for you. Like meditating is just being bored.
Yeah. Yeah. Yoga.
Being bored. And it's really good for you.
It's like a cleanse.
Yeah.
Almost.
It is. It's a dopamine detox. Mm-hmm. And it results, bro, that same video that I was just talking about, the guy went into all these studies that show like being bored, going through these detox periods where you're not stimulated, it results in people being way more creative, way more capable. Your memory gets better, all kinds of things. We're just not evolved to just constantly have dopamine streaming in our brains.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess we have to get bored.
All right. Let's do a whole week without our phones.
An hour. Let's start with an hour. I do want to marathon,
not a race.
I do really want to start trying to like. I'm definitely gonna cut down on my phone time, which I fucking hate saying because I have railed against people saying that my whole life because I've always had this idea that needing constant stimulation like somehow meant you were smarter. And your so I just told myself that. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm not a fucking idiot. I can't just sit there and stare at the wall.
That's like me telling myself my handwriting is bad because my brain works faster than other people's. I don't think there's any merit in that statement, but if you think about it,
like to think that.
If you think about it long enough, it can make sense.
Sure, yeah. I believe it. So yeah, I want to try to cut down on my phone time, and I want to get onto some kind of scheduled meditating.
Ooh.
Even if it's just like 5 minutes once a week.
Joanna's gotten to you, dude.
She has. Shout out Joanna. I appreciate you. Also,
every
time I talk to her, she's so... Bro, I know she gets this a lot, and I'm not trying to be a shithead about it, but she is just so short.
Yeah. She's to your waist.
She was standing next to me the other day, and I literally felt uncomfortable having to look directly down to talk to her.
Her forehead.
Yes, dude. I mean, I love her, and I'm not trying to make fun of her. No. It's just such a unique thing that I've never experienced.
Yeah. Us short kings don't have it like that.
Yeah. She's a short queen, dude.
Yeah. I think meditation will be good. My mom has been meditating every morning for like the past 3 or 4 years, and she always talks about how great it is and how she's changed basically her mentality in her life and how she used to be. And you can definitely see it on her since then. And she tells me all the time that I need to start meditating and all that stuff. But she's a very regimented woman, though. So
yeah.
But I think, there's this old saying. I don't know if it has any merit, but it takes 21 days to develop a habit. Mm-hmm. So if you can do this for 21 days, Sean, you can do it forever.
I mean, I'm gonna try, but also I've worked out for way more than 21 days, and I still stopped. So I mean, I do believe in that, and habit forming is what it is. But it's not going to carry you across everything. Like the the reality of the situation is, if you want to do something forever, you got to be disciplined. Mm-hmm. And I am so undisciplined, and that's something I really want to work on as well.
Well, hell yeah, dude. I think you can do it.
I just don't even know where you start. I guess you just have to, there's no exercise you can do that increases your discipline.
No.
You just have to
do something.
Be disciplined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think not it's necessarily like an exercise that you have to do, but I think if you have like a daily activity that you tell yourself to do.
It's like a practice.
Yeah. And if you can stick to it every day, that'll start working the gears, and it'll get you into that habit forming mindset.
Yeah, definitely. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to hit?
Not much that I can think of.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, no.
I just want to mention, for anyone who doesn't know, I don't think I talked about this last week, although I intended to. Apple just released new MacBook Pros, and they're sick as fucking all get out. They have MagSafe again. They have...
You did mention it, yeah.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I won't get into all the details, but I'm going to get one.
Really?
Oh, for sure. I don't know when exactly because they're expensive.
Yeah, they are.
I could sell this and get one, but I
have to buy our equipment.
Yeah, no, yeah. I already ordered all the equipment.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send you money.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get one, though. I think it's going to make... Well, that combined with the equipment that we ordered is going to make doing the podcast a lot more smooth.
True, probably. Yeah.
It's also going to have an SD card slot, which is not a reason to buy a laptop because I could just get a dongle to make this read SD cards, but it's just a nice little thing.
Yeah.
The MagSafe, the SD card slot, it has a HDMI port on it again.
So many things.
It's so powerful. So powerful. It's crazy. You can play video games on it, all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh, shit. I'm getting back into gaming.
I want to get back into Warzone, dude.
Dude, I haven't played a game.
I know.
In months.
I haven't played a game since I lived in my old apartment across the railroad tracks.
I don't think I've played a game in... Yeah. I haven't played a game since I've been here either.
Do you want to finish this up and play some Animal Crossing with me?
No.
Oh. No, I meant... Okay.
No, I gotta do some... I got laundry, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Crazy.
I gotta go somewhere.
Dude, why do you hate...
I gotta go to Fort Worth. Go to my mom's house.
My mom just called right now. She said, don't play Animal Crossing. Come home. Dude, why do you hate good video games?
Animal Crossing is not a good video game.
Oh, well, I don't think it's a great video game. But it's a good time.
It's okay.
Especially if you haven't played it. Which you definitely
I would
haven't.
get super bored.
Me too.
Playing Animal Crossing.
I've owned it since it came out. And I haven't played it for months and months now. But it's cool. It's fun in like short bursts. It's also... We won't get into it, but it's almost a little more interesting. You know, I think most people play it just constantly. Mm-hmm. It's almost a little more interesting to me to just play it once every few months.
And then pick it back up.
Yeah, because you pick it back up and like time has continued to pass on your island while you're gone.
And your guy's dead.
No, but he walks out of the house and he has bedhead. And he's all like, oh, how long have I been out? And then you go inside and there's like roaches everywhere because nobody's been home for so long and you have to squish them all. You don't have to, but you do it. And then all the islanders are like, dude, where the fuck have you been? Okay. They're like excited to see you. And then some of them are like, yeah, I'm thinking about moving off the island.
Okay.
Because it's not as active as I thought it would be. And you have to be like, either let them or be like, no.
No.
I don't know
why.
why.
We're about to party in here.
Even though you're just neighbors, they let you decide their whole lives.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'll watch you play.
Nah, that's too boring. If you're going to watch me play something, it should be God of War.
God of War.
But you should play God of War.
Oh, I'd rather watch you play.
I'd rather watch you play. I actually would rather watch you play. I think it would be so fun to watch you play.
I don't know what it is, but I don't like playing video games by myself.
But here's the thing. Hear me out. You're not by yourself if someone's watching you play.
That's true.
Because I used to have that issue a lot. And I would always like meet up with my friends to hang out and play video games, and just one of us would play while the rest hung out. Because I get it. Solo video games get lonely. Like it loses its interest because it is kind of like lonesome after a while. I will say, God of War has actually geniusly found a solution to this problem because you always have two other characters with you in the game, and the three are constantly talking and like bouncing off of each other. It never really feels lonely. Unless it's specifically supposed to in like a moment. Mm. So anyway.
It's interesting.
I think you should give it a shot actually playing it. It's arguably the best video game on PlayStation ever.
Yeah.
Maybe even on anything.
Everybody that I know that plays it tells me it's the best game ever.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll pick it up
from a
eventually.
Gameplay perspective and a storytelling perspective.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The gameplay is so fun.
Yeah. I did play it a little bit when I was in college. But I never finished it.
The 2018 one or one of the earlier ones?
The 2018 one.
Okay.
Yeah. I played that for a little bit. I borrowed Pat's edition actually.
Yeah.
But I only played it. I played a few hours of it, and then I just fell off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I always still working on figuring out where the boundaries are between just being like, okay, that's fine if you don't want to do something, or being like, no, you have to, because that's usually who I always am. And the thing is, usually I'm right.
Yeah.
But there's just you don't want to be a dickhead about stuff. So I'm trying to ring that in a little bit.
I don't feel like that with you. I mean, you definitely tell me to do a lot of things.
Yeah, I do.
And then I'm just like, yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah.
And then I don't. But I think that's just our dynamic.
Yeah, it is. Dynamic banter. It's a podcast. Check it out, dude. All right, well, I guess that's going to bring an end to today's show, you guys.
Hell yeah, dude.
I lost my voice from one night of partying. What's happening to me?
You're getting old, dude.
Is it the vapes?
Oh, dude, I ran out of my vape, and I don't think I'm going to buy another one for a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's powerful.
I think it's time.
Okay.
Mostly because my throat always hurts and I cough a lot. And I think that's a direct correlation.
Fuck.
I think it's a direct correlation.
But here's the thing. I have a whole nother vape in there already after this one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Just
the one you bought.
Oh, let me use it.
Okay.
And then we'll both get through it as fast as possible.
Yeah. Well,
and then
throw it to each other in the hallway.
And then after that, we'll be safe.
We'll go. We're out.
At least for the rest of the year. And then we'll see how we feel after.
Oh, it's only one more month. I was about to be like, Jesus Christ, one more year. A whole rest of the year?
Let's go 21 days without it and see what happens.
I mean, that would put us at a month total.
Yeah. Although we do have your birthday coming up.
True.
And all of our other friends' birthdays as well.
Yeah. The thing about the vape,
it's just
something to do with my mouth and my hands. Like I don't even like it for the nicotine. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I do, like chemically speaking, but
I thought you were going to go in the direction of when you're drinking.
Or I do
when you're out socially as well.
I do rip it when I'm out drinking, but to be fair, I do that at home too. I think when we're just like here chilling, I hit it way more than you do.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I usually like always have it in my hand. It's kind of an issue.
For dramatic effect. Anyways, all right, let's actually close this one out. Okay. We've tried to close it out like 4 times already.
Bye guys, we love you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
Hanukkah and also Thanksgiving.
Oh shit.
Do we have anything big coming up that we need to do a live version of the podcast? We should do a live version of the podcast someday.
We should do a live version of Friendsgiving. Friendsgivings.
Yeah.
We should also plan a Friendsgiving.
Yes.
Friendsgivings.
We also need to get a new table.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Okay. We'll talk about all that later. Thank you guys for listening. This was a pleasure.
Okay, bye.
Bye.